Oh, I know why you hate me. Alright. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Unfortunately, we didn't get Prosecutor Valentine's message, tragically. I was a little latesies. I missed his message. Oh, the tragedy. Oh, the tragedy. Alright. I'm looking up something real quick, because I need to make sure I didn't give a name to the service rifle he had yet. I need to make sure. This is not for the current chapter I'm going to read you guys. It's for the next chapter, which I've already started working on. Which is the big heavy chapter that goes over the naval invasion of Isle Hattori, aka Fortress Hattori. Good, I didn't. Good. Because I wanted to make sure. I didn't know if I spelled it Volter with an E or Voltar, which is supposed to be Voltar. Good. I did not name the model of rifle he had. So, cool. Cool, it is named here later. Perfect. Because I have that all written down in the documentations. The Voltar service rifle. Chambered in lovely 6.5. Okay. Alright, chat. Let us get to it. Because again, that's in chapter 17, A Broken Thing. We're going to go to chapter 16, Nightfall. That's what we're going to do for the stream today. We're talking about Nightfall and go over the bits and details, the bits and bobs. Yeah. Oh my goodness sakes. Okay. Oh, I should get some actual normal water. Woo! Hang on. I'm going to get myself some normal water. I'm just going to sit here and stare at you judgingly. All right. Chapter 16, Nightfall. William was completely shocked as he looked over each picture of the paperwork Samantha had provided him. She was meanwhile lightly picking at the food they had gotten together for this little picnic outing in the park. There wasn't a lot of jovial vibes to go around, and William finally let out a long grumble as he set the photos down and rubbed his eyes firmly. We have potential for unlisted persons being taken into black sites, then the records being altered, unauthorized cleanup for bodies, and Samantha simply nodded her head as he listed everything off and placed a hand out onto his. This would have easily put Lapradia on the purge listing. I understand, Will. It isn't the evidence we wanted to find, but it does make a lot of sense, given, well, both of them. William couldn't do anything but nod in agreement, for he leaned back into the chair he was settled in. Just so much corruption everywhere. I'm shocked they were spared the purge 3 years ago. Too right. Could very well be that the NDA has become far too esoteric for its own good. Both of them shared the same grim determinings in this matter, and thus looked to the food of their late afternoon picnic. This is when Samantha at last tried to break the tension and offered a smile. So, you said you met with some potential friends? How'd that go? Surprisingly well, I think. William took a moment to ponder on his thoughts and even looked at his hands carefully. I ran into that ranger again by total coincidence, Sam. He was in a meeting with another man who... Well, it turns out the whole diner were these wulvarin. Holy shit, how many of them are there? Well, they said it was a biased perspective because wolves are social and like to congregate, combined with human socialization, and, well, they kind of clump together when they can. So there aren't that many. Something like 1 in every 1,000, maybe even 10,000 or so. No exacting numbers, mind you. William slowly rubbed his hands together and the voice settled in. I'm ready. Why am I hesitating now? They pretty much confirmed everything the ranger said. Samantha didn't speak and instead just brought her hand out to grab his once more and gently stroked her thumb across his skin. This made the special agent do the same and look into her eyes, a smile slowly coming across his face as he leaned in towards her, and she did the same in reverse. Another kiss was shared, and the two of them let it linger for a time, for at last they simply leaned against each other for comfort. Samantha, I'd like to see you around my place, if your folks don't mind, you not coming home tonight. I don't know what they may have planned. Agent Baker just smiled broadly and placed a finger to his lips. Shh, I would love to. The air was starting to cool as Sol dipped over the horizon and the telltale hands of night began to close over Lapradia. The subtle sounds of lapping water against the docks themselves added to the slight cacophony of movement far below. The first glints of stars began to show within the darkened tapestry as Jonathan stood on the gantry of a massive cargo crane alongside his second. How we looking, Victor? The chieftain scanned across the docks with a pair of binoculars, checking each source of light and then turning towards the workshop that was to be their battleground. We got lucky. No major ships are heading into port until late tomorrow morning, so there's a skeleton crew to work the docks. Our people are already corralling the work crews away from the infected area. Security concerns, they said. I have the other 2 Speya keeping overwatch. Victor steadily folded up a piece of paper he had and slipped it into his pocket of his long-used and tended trench coat before he turned his focus to Jonathan. Excellent. I sent Brian, Lester, and Tina to help our security patrols keep people in check. They all got orders to make it seem like a heist gone bad to explain the sounds of fighting. Cameras are already dealt with. David, Vennick, and Mouse are on standby with the firefighting trucks. He slowly put away the binoculars into his own long coat's pocket and gave it a soft tap before starting to stretch out. That leaves what? You, me, Andrea, Jacob, and Sam to deal with the hellhound? Victor began to follow suit. Not that either man needed a stretch, but it always felt like it smoothed the transition, even if it were just placebo. Yep. We need to give the latter, well, Andrea and Sam, some experience in combat. Though this will be Jacob's first time fighting a hellhound. They're all still young, and I would feel better knowing they can hold their own in a fight. Victor let out a chuckle at the chieftain's words before he scratched his cheek. Babysitting duty for us? Jonathan shrugged at the words, then took in a deep breath. Anything can happen. Shit can always go sideways, so we need to be there as backup for our kin. All the others have orders to converge once the fighting begins, too. A fair point. I just hate fighting hellhounds. Hopefully the Rose sees fit that we won't be in for a slog. It was Jonathan's turn to chuckle, and he waved a hand. Every rose has its thorns. A common answer to the hypothetical wishes of the saying. With that, he took in one final deep breath, working himself into a careful rhythm as he looked up at the coming moon and felt the surge of energy. His moon, the gibbous, was now prominently in the sky, and thus he extended his arms out as if to embrace it. This feeling is always so wondrous, like a gentle caress. Victor offered a grumble and then stepped up to slap Jonathan on the back, thus bringing him firmly out of his brief revelry. Monty watches over us as always. Now, we're ready on your go, Chief. Jonathan didn't answer beyond a brief chuckle before he began to initiate the change within himself, as if unraveling a tightly bound rope. He could feel every movement of the wind, the light cast down from Monty, the waves crashing along the docks, the birds settling... Not crashing, should be lapping. Docks are specifically designed to not have waves. So I'm going to do the water lapping along the docks. The birds settling into nests, the grasses and trees just beyond the concrete. All of the natural world breathing through him, even as the pain raced alongside it in his body, and his bones began to break and distort. That life-giving breath pumping through his veins as his muscles tore, his fingernails pulled in and began to thicken, his tendons thrummed as they were pulled taut. His heart beat harder, drumming in his chest with the rhythm of the world itself, as the strands of fur pushed through skin now turned to hide. His teeth began to fuse, while the canines and incisors extended before sharpening in the latter's case. The clothing he wore began to unwind and pull itself together into its new iteration, drawing out a charcoal-colored fabric. At last his face elongated into a snout, as his ears traveled from the sides of his head to the crown, and the fur wrapped his entire body until he stood in his full wulvarin form. This was a truly impressive sight, for he was of the tallest that the Alderskald could be, coming in at 9.5 feet in height. His fur was almost entirely black, with a splash of white, as if he had been dusted with flour around his lips, throat, and upper part of his pectoral muscles. Musculature was incredibly visible across his entire frame, and his modesty was preserved by an ornately dressed charcoal-colored loincloth. Across his back there was a crimson pattern that even seemed to mark the fur itself, and looked to be a set of eyes with a jagged mark between, as if a lightning bolt. At the same time, his arms and thick fingers were adorned in various handicrafts of numerous materials. Even some of his fur was braided with beads and polished stones, each a pattern with significance to it. Some would be for wardings of protection, others allowed quick usage of potent abilities at the cost of the fetish itself. This stood in stark contrast to his compatriot, who, while having pure black fur, had the same trench coat on he bore in his Mather form, now writ large and open. His own modesty was protected by a similar loincloth, but the various ritual fetishes and tools were partially concealed beneath the coat. His emerald green eyes looked out over the dockyard before he cast his gaze over towards his chieftain and tilted his head. "I'm surprised you aren't donning your coat, Einvalder." Sorry. Try that again. The throat demon tried to strangle me there. Hold up. "I'm surprised you aren't donning your coat, Einvalder Reaper Song. You look downright ornamental." This brought a huffing chuckle from Jonathan, who looked at the smaller Speya, tallest for his own caste at 8 feet, but dwarfed by that of John's. "Extra precautions for this evening. 3 of our kin will be facing a hellhound for the first time ever, and I'd like to bring all available tools to bear if they are needed." Victor gave a bow of his head to his chieftain, and though he didn't express it verbally, it was plain in the throat demons trying to stop me. Alright. Victor gave a bow of his head to his chieftain, and though he didn't express it verbally, it was plain in the gesture and smile with it that he was grateful. Grateful that the wolf he chose to follow, and whose tribe he swore himself to, was so dutiful in his efforts and thinking for those beneath his station. Jonathan turned away and then took in a deep breath. No, this fits again. I know we've done a lot of deep breaths in this, but it's supposed to be ritualistic, right? This one, it has a purpose, so I'm gonna keep it. Jonathan turned away and then took in a deep breath, filling his lungs to their limit before he began to howl, one that carried for miles. Victor did not join him and instead started to slide into the very shadows and swam through them, one of the greatest gifts the Speya were afforded solely. The howl itself needed no words of additional information beyond the activation of the operation with a single utterance of kill stretched out through the duration. At the same time, the dock suddenly shuddered as all the lights went dark. A plan put in motion by his Aeter to limit civilian mobility and obscure what was to come, for wolves had night sight. Somewhere a gunshot resounded as Jonathan leapt from the gantry and used his grip on the outer beam of a support leg to slow his descent. The chaos of gunfire would act as a further smokescreen, but also timer for the operation, and as Jonathan raced towards the marked hangar, he was joined by others. These would be the first to come into contact with the hellhound. The only unfortunate aspect was that it was breaching inside the maintenance hangar. This building was usually packed at all hours to effect repairs on both equipment for the docks and the ships residing in port. Fortunately, with Glassden's control of the docks, they had a lot of sway over the operational integrity of it, and had ordered the maintenance warehouse closed for security risk assessment. This was code used by their organization to indicate a criminal threat was likely imminent, usually from the constant conflict with the Vink family trying to make inroads. A sudden scream from inside the hangar put the emphasis on the danger, and as they pulled the hangar doors open for access, the smell and sight hit them as a 1-2 punch. There, standing with its back to them, was a creature of blistered flesh and subtly burning fur that left that horrible retching stench in one's nostrils. This was barely enough to overcome the sulphurous odor of brimstone mixed with feces and bile that threatened to peel the paint from the walls. The abomination against everything the Vordir stood for was currently chewing on some poor victim, likely a worker just taking a second look at his utter misfortune. The musculature along its back exposed more so from the patches of missing fur, looked blistered and oozed pus. Its tail was a crooked and broken thing with only a few lingering strands of fur, as if it had suffered some hideous disease. All of it calling to the grotesque and unnatural appearance of those touched by the hells themselves, and the sight alone was enough to give those unfamiliar with it pause. This included Jacob the Wrecker, a black wolf with red eyes that made him look all the more intimidating with his exceptional muscle mass. Sam was a Yalderskald with ginger coat and light brown eyes, with a toned body that needed more work put into it. Andrea the Goothy rounded out the last of the initial strike group, alongside Jonathan and Victor, who had a striking coat of brown and gray that shifted into white for her underside and golden yellow eyes. Focus intently on the enemy. Do not get overconfident with our numbers, for you'll be facing the fury, fires, and damnation of the hells. The words of their chieftain caught the attention of the monstrosity, and it slowly turned, still chewing on the unfortunate man's arm, and this gave everyone an unobstructed view. This beast was once a wolf like them, but the corruption of the hellfire it willingly bathed in had turned it into a scarred and blistered thing. Its face was marked with patches of sores that weeped, while its nose looked half melted against the bruise-colored hide. Its eyes looked white as if blind, but pulsated with unnatural cracks from the liquid magma hidden within the veins. This was only when they were in their more passive state, indulging in their sin and thus appeased, a very transient and brief moment in the abominable life of a hellhound. The other feature of note for this one was the distended belly that rolled and gurgled with constant movement under the stretched skin, which made Andrea flinch at the sight of it. This was followed by Sam and Jacob, who looked further down, for where its genitals had once been was nothing but a bulbous and twisted mash like ground beef, where something had gnawed it. As it opened its mouth, the smell of rot was unavoidable, and yet before it could utter anything, Jonathan spoke again. They have lost a bit of their healing potency compared to us, but they can repair themselves faster than us by engaging in their sin. Do not let that one keep eating. His tone was flat because he had to get the information out and past the sickly sweet sucor that would have called a wolf to investigate for a meal. Here, though, the idea that they had come to cease its consumption made it suddenly and violently shake. The open sores across its body were those shared by severe burn victims, and oozed a white foam, while its blackened teeth were highlighted by the eerie glow of the hellfire deep in its throat. It is mine, my food, my feast. My hunger must be sated, mine. The words were delivered in the mind-numbing crackle and hiss of the abyssal tongue. Then the hellhound's eyes suddenly began to split, as if cut from tear duct to lateral canthus, and opened up and down. This opening was a black void, and was one of the most disturbing features of these fell atrocities. What followed was the sick and twisted laugh, no longer a thing of suffering like the Smilers, but one of true twisted mirth at their diseased nature. I was going to offer a feast for you, cousins. Now you will be my feast. Its words had changed to that of the high tongue, and this signaled the true opening salvo of the conflict. Yet before the beast could move, it was Victor who appeared from the shadows directly behind it, and delivered a slash across the back of its legs. The molten fires of the hells themselves belched from the fresh wounds and sizzled as they touched the ground, while the twin daggers of his cast went to work tipping the scales. The screech that came from the creature was piercing, and it spun with a shocking speed to try and deliver a slash back. Victor was too quick and gripped at the ground to pull himself low and under before kicking off and away. This brought... Excuse me. All right, let me pause there for a second. First off, welcome to the first visual description of what a hellhound, specifically a hellhound of gluttony, looks like, right? Each of the hells does different things to twist them. If you want ones that look more appealing, you know, air quotes, by design, it's the hells of lust, right? Sloth look very skeletal-like because, again, they don't do anything. They barely feed themselves and stuff like that. They're much more about things staying the same, becoming very passive until you anger them, and then they fucking freak the fuck out. And by anger them, I mean literally do anything within sight or sound of them. Because you're changing things, and they don't like that. So again, it's just the way everything is. So again, gluttony, very very distended belly. Things are obviously moving in it, like very very grotesque nature. It'd be one of those things like if you could imagine it, think of it like Nurgle, right? Because all they do is they consume. That's all they think about. That's all they want to do. All right. Yeah. Okay. This bought time as Jacob charged forward in the distraction, but the gluttonous hellhound was not caught flat-footed and spun to the side before sweeping a hand across. A strange searing stream of liquid flame, best known as hellfire, oozed from the hand, and the wrecker threw his shield arm up to cover his head before he jumped away. Yet the unnatural movement of hellfire saw it creep around the shield itself and flick droplets upon his black fur, where every drop of the vile liquid touched, seared and blistered, scarring him and making him wince in the agonizing pain of it. Andrea rushed over to his side and channeled her healing gifts and swept her hand over his arm to heal the wound, but that scar would remain for months. The healing of the wulvarin was truly legendary, but wounds inflicted by the fiander and demonic entities could take years to fully disappear. This was because they directly injured both halves of the vordir in a single stroke. Something the wulvarin could do to each other if restraint was off the table. Seeing two of his battle group sidelined, even if it was only for a matter of seconds, meant Sam had to step up, and thus he made distance from his compatriots and channeled a thunderous howl known as Challenger's Cry. This made the hellhound stumble forward. This made the hellhound stumble forward towards the other two before it instantly snapped its attention to the upstart dog that dared to taunt it. It was a risk, to be sure, but it seemed the hellhound was already annoyed enough to have its mental guard lowered, and thus took the bait and started moving towards the Yalderskald. This was a dangerous turn, though, as the hellhound's lower jaw suddenly distended, and a stream of vomit and bile burst out, sizzling and crackling the very air itself. A terrible mockery of the paternal instinct within wolves to transport food to feed their pups. Everywhere it touched, even the concrete floor, began to be eaten by the digestive acids. But Sam was fortunately quick on his feet and began calling forth the axe of moonlight to his hands. Whoa, fuck! His words expressed in the heat of the moment as he dodged the attack, while Jonathan maneuvered into position to assist. The chieftain of Glassden didn't want to handle the monstrosity for them. He needed his tribesmen to understand the danger and gain confidence in working together to overcome it. Yet he wasn't going to just be a passive observer either, and his gaze was quickly darting around the work floor for anything they could use against the now soulless corruption. There were various bits of equipment in different states of repair, be it a work truck for dock security, an engine from one of the tugboats being rebuilt, or mechanisms used by the gantry cranes. An internal gantry crane for hauling the heaviest loads around the work bay, A few forklifts, a reach stacker, and some wheeled toolboxes were scattered about. Yet his eyes clued in on part of the fire suppressant system that could be used to douse engine and oil fires. It was a chemical extinguisher, and thus wasn't the best for this situation, but anything to dampen the hellfire and its heat was better than nothing, so he shifted position to grab it. The very existence of demons, of which hellhounds were entirely now classified, came with the overbearing heat of the hells, and their origins as monsters from the lavas of volcanoes. A sudden swirling sickle went across the room and struck the hellhound in the back, causing it to jump and spin. Andrea had finished tending to Jacob, who was now racing back forward with shield and eye defilade to keep track of the beast. This brought the hellhound to slash at the air, but this was not done uselessly, as his finger bones ripped free of his hand and hurtled across the room. The poor Goothy let out a cry of pain as a finger bone embedded itself into her side and began to twist and try to tunnel deeper, but she managed to get a grip on it and ripped it free. Her immediate focus was on now sealing the bleeding wound using her gift, Spirit's Caress, rather than forcing her body to heal it and burn through more energy. The hellhound wanted to press towards her, but Jacob now slammed into its side. Even as the fires of its body heat burned at him, he lifted the hellhound up and drove them hard into the concrete. He wasted no time in using the terrifying gift of his cast, sharpening his claws and extending them to cleave off one of the abomination's arms. But his hard-earned gift of brawler's intuition kicked in. Immediately his focus turned to the mouth that unhinged once more, and he dove to the side as another stream of acidic bile spewed forth, catching his cheek, but his quick movement took it from a dire injury into a deflecting wound. This is not to say he was suddenly out of the woods, and the agonizing yelp he let out made clear the pain the acid inflicted. This is when Reaper Song made his move as the hellhound threw Jacob from him and kicked up, thus otherwise distracted. The arm now started to regrow as the beast scooped the severed limb and started devouring it with ravenous hunger. But Jonathan knew what the thing was doing. Another grotesque mockery of their divine nature, as the monstrously bloated dog suddenly began to draw out a sword, one that did not thrum with the gifts of Mani, but radiated the heat of the hells. The blade itself looked to be made of obsidian with chips in it, while the guard hilt and pommel were made of blackened bone, and the grip was tattered skin that bled. It was clear that this pathetic mongrel had been a Domari before the temptations overwhelmed them, and their soul was obliterated by the hells to make this farce. While the demons could no longer call upon the gifts they had in their former life, they could abuse twisted mimicries of them pried from the grips of the hells. Jonathan knew he needed to intervene, and thus dashed from the nearest ring stand as he withdrew the canister of chemicals now tucked under his arm before charging towards the monstrosity. Sam attempted to meet the abyssal sword blade with the bite of his axe, only to be rebuked by the strength of the dog demon and the heat of the blade. Worse still, the obsidian chipped, and these did not simply fall away, but actively flew as razor blades, slicing into the Alderskald's hands and arms, causing extensive lacerations and yelps. Jacob and Andrea were back on the move, with the latter channeling the cast control of the moon's crescent sickle to send it flying towards the hellhound. The beast saw the pair coming and growled, for it wanted to press the advantage against the pup that retreated to allow his body to heal. Thus he again sent an arcing stream of vomit, now mixed with a quick toss of hellfire coursing through his body to delay them. The vile hellspawn heard the approaching attack from behind. The vile hellspawn heard the approaching attack from behind, and thus spun with a quick slash of that corrupted sword. Yet as he turned, it was not Sam that greeted his sight, but a far more ornamentally dressed Yalderskald of black fur with a dusting of white along his muzzle. The blade was already arcing as Jonathan pushed the canister out, letting the chemical extinguisher collide and burst violently to shower a deluge of powder into the air. To further ensure the efficacy of his surprise attack, the carcass of the extinguisher slipped free of his hand, which soon joined the other as Reaper Song inhaled. His fingers arced like a tunnel, and he blew a gust of wind that ensured all the airborne particulates slammed into the demonic dog, who cried out in pain, for the hellfire had been dampened, even if only a little. This was an opening for all of them to exploit, but that was the thinking of the inexperienced, and thus came to a surprise when Jonathan dove away. Sam, however, moved past his chieftain, only to realize with horror what Reaper Song was actively dodging, as the hellhound grabbed its stomach and ripped it open. The most valuable lesson for these young pups would come with the most pain, as a shower of intestines hurled forth as if a blast of a shotgun, and most disturbing of all were the terrible hooks in them. The younger Yalderskald tried his best to dodge aside, but one of the intestines punctured his arm with one of those black barbs. Instantly, the hellhound offered a sickening smile as its guts reeled back in like a winch, and started dragging Sam off his feet and towards those ebony-stained teeth. This was until Jonathan kicked off from the ground and suddenly brought down his own axe, called to his hands, but not on the intestines, and instead took Sam's arm off below the elbow. The young pup's mind raced to understand why, until he saw from his departing limb writhe free a worm-like thing with the face of a man that would have tunneled into his body to consume his organs. Dozens of these maggots were now crawling through freshly tunneled holes all across the arm, with a few now crushed as the hellhound snatched it from the air and opened its mouth wide. This was a cruel pestilence, and was the terrible truth of what writhed and moved in the hideous beast's bowels, that acted as another trap laced into a thing of cruel mockery and damnation. "By the Ender, that fucking hurts!" Sam cried out as he couldn't help but grab the stump where his arm had been, yet Jonathan snapped back at him and spun the axe around in his hands to get at the flat of the back. "Focus, Sam. Channel the regenerative capabilities you have." Strangely to Sam, and shared confusion with Jacob and Andrea, Jonathan did not charge towards the hellhound, but circled around to the side and waited. For what? The other three would soon learn quickly, as Victor, who had been working at the threat from a different angle, burst from the beast's shadow with daggers in hand. The hellish monstrosity tried its best to roll forward and keep its prize, but the daggers took its fingers, while a swift kick from the spear sent the infested arm sailing towards Jonathan. The Einvalder then swung the axe of Moon's Light like a bat, and hit the arm clean out from the front of the hangar, across the first and second lanes of the dock, with storage area between, and into the sea, into the seawater on the other side. Victor once more dodged away, taking a slight raking backslash from the abyssal blade, and wincing from the pain, but making it clear with just the glancing laceration. "If a beast of wanton gluttony consumes any part of your living flesh, it will brand you. That brand will begin sapping your strength until you are easy prey for its teeth." Reaper Song was continuing the lessons these pups would need should they be asked to battle one without his presence. This is when the hellhound growled growled and snapped its jaws a few times.
Think you're so clever? I am eternal now.
Jacob, though, had not been doing his own maneuvering. Jacob, though, had been doing his own maneuvering, and now was positioned behind the beast. Yet he did not move. In his shadow, Victor suddenly rolled out, hissing between clenched teeth at the needle-like pain pumping in his body as he got back to work at the bait. This had been his mission from the start, and he quickly scooped up the last of the hellhound's feast before racing towards the hangar doors, which drew the monster's eye.
No! My food! Mine!
Yes, he growl snap at you. Exactly. It sounded very scaven-y, didn't it? The creature did its best to race after the retreating Speya, who did everything he could to taunt the corrupted dog. A war of attrition with a thing of the hells was a risky matter, and one where the act of fighting it risked feeding and healing it made such a position undesirable. It was fortune, then, that all those pathetic beasts of the hells, regardless of their station, were so consumed by sin that it demanded satiation at all times. Thus, the act of removing its food now completely dominated the vile, scabies-lichened creature into charging blindly to get back its meal, a foul ichor acting as its saliva falling from its open and snarling mouth. The speed at which it moved caught everyone by surprise, and Victor had to make the wise choice and dump the viscera he was carrying to dodge the chipped blade as it just missed him. Jonathan grumbled some as they were so close to getting the beast out to where they needed, but it was Jacob that made the final decision as he began drumming at his chest. Reaper Song snapped his head over as he watched the wrecker's muscles bulge, veins so thick you could see them in the fur itself, as he grit his teeth and flared his nostrils. Nature's fury took hold, and the wrecker burst forward with incredible haste, something the brute force of his caste was not known for. Such an overdrive put a heavy toll on the wrecker that utilized it, for none were like that of Sidoris, and thus there was a time limit before their body would shut down and they would fall unconscious. And, sorry, while I deal with the throat demons, if you recall, this is also what the wrecker at the start of the book in the Smiler was trying to do, until he got totally fucking wham blasted in the face with bear mace. Which kind of threw off his entire vibe. While it may have seemed a prudent choice at the time, it just went to show Jacob's inexperience in fighting a thing of the hells, and thus Jonathan raced forward. The hellhound itself turned and cackled as the wrecker bared down on it, its mouth soon occupied with another hunk of meat it tore from the viscera. Reaper Song quickly brought his axe overhead and hurled it forward at the beast, who was already starting to draw the obsidian blade up to skewer the wrecker, while gurgling as its mouth opened for the devastating combo. It was only as its eyes caught the axe coming in that it tried to turn, and Victor doubled back to deliver a hard kick to its side, thus throwing off its aim. This ensured its vomit flew wide, and its attempted thrust was thwarted as the wrecker collided and lifted the hellhound off its feet before the next gift kicked in. Jacob quickly utilized the stampede within him, channeling all those beasts of the wild that charged down their foe, be it from predator or prey. The mass of the wrecker could not be denied, and thus he carried the blistering monstrosity as it burned his fur and hide straight out of the hangar and into the first roadway of the docks. This is where the beast suddenly caught sight of the trap being sprung, as a fire engine had been hooked to the emergency water tanks, and suddenly blasted it in Jacob with a dousing wall of water. All of it was seemingly going to plan as the creature shrieked, but this signaled its own desperation, and soon that ebony blade came down into Jacob's shoulder before it was wrenched and sent his arm free. The wrecker cried out in agony, for the bite of such a blade was designed to inflict as much suffering as possible. To take such a brutal blow would lead to an injury that would remain poorly healed for months, as the very spirit was cleaved with it. The dousing of the murderous monster's heat was distracting it, but Jacob was in no position to capitalize and needed to retreat if he was to avoid further injury. The boon of nature's fury could not be denied, and the wrecker was solely determined to devastate the target of his ire in spite of the cost to himself. Jonathan would not tolerate this, and thus began to channel his own gift, one of those truly divine boons he had endured much hardship to acquire. It came with its own toll, and he was gladly willing to pay the price as he took in a deep breath and his voice carried out into the night of the dock's air. This is also when the hellhound ripped Bones free from its hand and had fired them to pierce the hoses that connected the fire engine to its lifeline. Oh boy, can I sing in Jonathan's voice? That's what I'm trying. Here we go. I laid them down in the cold hard ground. The words caught the attention of the others, and already they could see the sorrow gripping at their Einvalder's face, ears drooping and eyes half-lidded. Never gone, for the memories abound. This was the dirge of memories, a gift bestowed upon him through a trial to Mani herself, an acknowledgement of the unfaltering memory locked in every Yalderskald. It was not that they could recall everything at all times, but that their recall of it was perfect. Thus many would build walls within their mind to try and stop drifting towards the darker past within them. This boon obliterated such barriers and forced them to the front to allow him to walk amongst them as if turning the pages of a story. Thus all the horrors and hardships, all those he lost over his 202 years of life, be it to ambitions of murderous intent, falling to the temptations of sin, the ravages of their burden, or by his own 2 hands, stood once more. Immediately the surrounding area of the docks played host to a macabre display of phantom shadows that took the appearance of those lost in life. The world itself felt far heavier and colder, as a great weight was now pressed on the shoulders of all those who heard it, none more so than Jonathan himself, whose use of the dirge earned him Reaper Song. Channeling such a gift allowed him to walk amongst the stories again, and in this he traded places with one shadow after another. This allowed him to move with impossible speed, to bring himself in front of the hellhound that wrenched free of the wrecker. Carry on, though they're all long gone. He slipped his thumb into his palm and curled his fingers around it, for drawing hellfire from wounds was not the intent. Instead, a heavy blow was driven into the mongrel's face and staggered him back to the point his blistered and broken tail hit the ground. And here I stand to forever mourn. Another heavy blow came, but this time not to the demon, but to the wrecker who was attempting to re-engage in the fight and could not be allowed to interfere now. Jacob toppled sideways, catching himself with his arm before Jonathan swapped with another shadow and delivered a brutal uppercut to the hellhound's face as it rose to its feet and then was lifted off them for a moment. The main problem was the toll it took on the Alderskald's mind, threatening to consume him in the memories if he didn't maintain focus. memories of all their tales unfurled. He could cease the channeling normally and avoid the risk of losing his consciousness in the past of his own recall. This would have been done had Jacob not suddenly regained his feet and was once more charging the hellhound, requiring Jonathan to swap and deliver another punch squarely to the wrecker's snout. Nevermore will they walk this world. This had an unintended benefit, as the hellhound had attempted to retaliate by ripping open its stomach once again, only to shotgun the nearest phantom with a hail of barbed intestines. Jacob, though, was proving to be a problem and was starting to get back to his feet again. Thus Jonathan switched tactics and returned to drive a kick harder into the hellish beast, driving it into the storage yard. It attempted to sweep its abyssal blade, but Reaper Song knocked its hand down hard, forcing the blade to fall free and break as it hit the ground. The Mockery tried to reform it, but a roundhouse kick now sent it into the secondary roadway that ran alongside the water lapping below. This time, Jonathan let the dirge fall away and lent a lightness to him as he needed the proper speed and power to finish the job. Jacob was starting to lumber forward when he suddenly fell to a knee and gasped as the boon burned through him and rendered him unconscious at last. Jonathan called to his hands the axe once more as the hellhound pulled at the blade, drawing it from its shattered position back to his hand and the pieces of obsidian to reform. This had been what the Einvalder wanted as he attacked, not at the hellhound but at the reforming blade, causing the beast to focus on the weapons clashing. This lapse in situational awareness allowed Jonathan to slip around behind as he let go of the axe and grabbed the hellhound around the stomach and chest. Quickly the Yalder-Skald pushed hard with his feet and pulled with his arms, feeling that terrible squishing of that distended belly as he picked and threw the riddled dog up. He then followed after and dove off the side of the dock, using his fist as a hammer blow to slam into the beast and ensure both of them cleared the shallows and into the water.
"Help that idiot up!"
Victor's voice cried out as he ran past the fallen wrecker, who was still losing blood from his missing arm. He could still feel the icy cold grip of the dirge on himself, drawing up all the painful memories that still lingered within his own mind. It was moments like this that he was genuinely grateful not to be burdened with perfect recall, and thus could more easily dismiss the ghosts of his past. A splash came from the water over the edge, and suddenly a canine head came flying up and over before landing just shy of Victor, who skidded to a halt. He was at first afraid of whose head it would be, and found himself thankful for the first time in his life to see the terrible visage of the hellhound. The water and salt had both done their work and crippled the beast, so that Jonathan could fully prevent its healing and claim victory. Victor knelt and claimed the head before he threw it back towards his compatriots that were rushing over.
"Bind it now!"
The command was given, and the orders of a Rogenwalder would be obeyed. One of their kin, known as Mouse, had dropped from his position on the fire engine and raced over to claim the head. He used the gifts of the Guthi and began the binding ritual to ensure the hellhound could not recover, even if its head were reintroduced to its body. This also snuffed out the last embers of heat attempting to flare back up, and the demon's head was now a lifeless husk. A small victory given the banishment rite to follow would only prevent its return in this world after it reformed in the hells. At the edge of the dock, a hand came up, and so too the massive black-furred Yalder-Skald, now soaked through with seawater and trudging forward. Victor was pleased to see his dearest friend, but could not hide the toll the dirge had taken on him as well, as the obvious trail of tears remained in the fur of his face.
sorry.
These were all the words the chieftain shared before he turned and began to walk away, a clear slump in his body. He shook the water from his fur and then shifted back to the mother, for he removed his soaked trench coat and continued to leave behind his tribe to finish cleanup. Victor knew he couldn't say anything at the moment, nor did any of the spirits that had come to watch curiously as their guardians brought down justice against a demon from the hells. This was part of the toll using such a gift took.
Right.
Start the banishment. We can at least ensure it won't darken our world again. Victor walked back towards the gathering of the rest of the Aether to take stock of the fight before Sam spoke up.
What was that?
Though he was young, it was clear that he too had skeletons, made all the more terrible from his own perfect recall. This also further highlighted the pain he felt as he squeezed at his fully regrown arm and the scar that was left upon it by his own chieftain. The injury was clean and would heal relatively quickly, given the control Jonathan used to not harm the spiritual side of the pup. That was one of the rarest Yalderskald gifts, learned from Mani herself. She gives it to those that could carry the burden of that deep sorrow. Jacob began to rise as Andrea was tending to his injury, the arm starting to regrow, but the scar where the blade had sliced through was far more gruesome than Sam's own. Demons were under no such obligation to control the damage, and thus the wrecker's very spirit was also wounded, and it would take months, if not years, for that scarring to go away. Victor turned once more to watch his friend leaving, blending in the shadows as distance grew greater, and thus he too turned back to the mother, his body compressing down and working back into the guise of an old man whose face bore the tales of his advanced years.
Change back as soon as you can and finish the banishment. Then we'll go spend some downtime to recover and debrief.
All around Victor, mixed in both the high tongue and that of Rosarian, the response came of acknowledgement. The Spey himself would watch over them all as the lights on the dock began to turn back on and the distant sirens of police could be heard drawing ever closer. William laid his head back on the pillow and took a few deep breaths while his eyes looked up at the ceiling, letting himself process everything clearly. His exposed chest rising and falling as he tried to regain his composure, which was quickly challenged as Samantha pulled herself in closer to him. Her head came to lay on his chest as she herself was breathing heavily and even traced a hand across his muscles.
Well, Sam, that went.
William managed to say between the breaths while he let out a soft chuckle. You did fine. It was really nice, Will. This brought a small smile to his face, and he began to speak up again.
Haven't really done that since back near the war's end. Hadn't for over a decade.
This made Samantha smack his chest and let out a huff. Stop talking. Let me enjoy this. This brought a full-on bout of laughter from William, which shook Samantha, who began to laugh alongside him. Finally, as the pair of them relaxed and composed themselves, she began to speak once more. I was honestly worried, deep down I mean, that when I learned the truth of what I was, you wouldn't. William brought his hand over and lifted her chin to look into her eyes. You being a bird doesn't suddenly change my feelings about you. Besides, I'm a wolf, so... This brought a smile to her face, and she made sure to scoot ever closer to him. So, you said that ranger was likely right? Yeah. All those others in the diner confirmed it for me. I still have my doubts,
like it's a dream I'll wake up from, but his words drifted off and she nodded her head. I know what you mean. Both of them knew that the world was far stranger and more complex than the overwhelming majority of people realized, but neither felt special. This sudden revelation that they were Vordir, as their associations had stated, seemed too good to be true. Everyone wanted to be special when they were young, but part of growing up was realizing not everyone could be a wizard or a dragon. Say, I got a question for you. You know the whole pack thing and the alpha, beta, omega stuff? Ah, yeah. I had a similar question. Turns out that was based on bad science. Not even from Rosentia, but from the Golden Dawn Imperium and the dwarves, if you can believe it. Turns out the sentiments from the expats kind of filtered into our common knowledge. Wolves do have an alpha, but this is the patriarch and matriarch of the family. Samantha raised a brow and looked up at William. So, they don't do packs and other ranks? No, they have packs. Even wolves do, but those are family units. For our kin, William weighed the words again and decided it seemed suitable. For our kin, they form more strict hierarchy and rank structures to maintain order and effectively delegate tasks. They even form packs, but not as family units, but as mission-specific groups. Otherwise, they congregate in tribes, or Aether as they call them. Samantha nodded and patted him on the chest. Look at you, Mr. Bountiful Information. This made the man chuckle before he ruffled her hair. Yeah. Just been trying to process all this, and I still have way more questions to ask, especially about wolves in general. He had thought for a long time before he let out a long sigh. They also told me that I was part of a prophecy, apparently. Oh? Samantha sat up, exposing her naked body to him once more as he too moved to sit up in the bed. Yeah, apparently I know how it sounds, but the moon is waiting for me. Samantha nodded her head and turned to settle in beside him, both of them now resting against the headboard. It doesn't sound wrong, Will. Not from everything I've been told. Apparently the moon and sun are actual gods, Mani and Sol, respectively. William nodded his head, but she chose to speak up. As for prophecy, are you sure they weren't just trying to butter you up? They were all terrified, Sam. This brought a frown to her face, and she let her head lean against his shoulder. It wasn't an act either. I could see it in each of them. I'd seen that sort of fear before, back during the war. It's something you suppress and work against, but can't ever truly hide. Just resist. All right. Then, if they were being honest, that begs the next logical question. Why you? Well, that got me thinking for a bit. What could I have ever possibly done to get the attention of something literally and figuratively above us? I could only come to one moment, though, and I could be entirely wrong. His words trailed off once again, and she leaned away from him and looked into his eyes. Would you tell me about it? William took a deep breath and closed his eyes as the memory started to come to him. He then began to speak. It was back during the war itself. And that's the end of chapter 16. Alright. Yeah. Oh, also I hear the sirens in the distance. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to the first introduction of hellhounds, and, well, what the ones from Gluttony look like, which are terrifying and disgusting, and the first proper fight against the hellhound. So you get to see that they're, again, numerical superiority against hellhounds does not guarantee victory. You saw how much what the hellhound was doing has devastating effects, right? Yes, the wulvarin are strong, but the hellhound was a wulvarin. And while they can't use the gifts they had in life, like they can't use the like channeling the winds and things like that, they can try to pry, because remember, the hells house the embodiments of the sin. The embodiments of the sin are gods, right? They are very dark, very corrupted gods, but they are gods. So they could pry gifts, massive air quotes, they could pry them from the hells. But it's not the same thing. Like you saw, the hellhound wasn't using like words or speech or anything like that, but it was like using vomit and bile, was using its intestines that now move and have maggots and things in it. Like, he was using all kinds of horrible things to get at it. And the blade, no longer being something gifted by Mani, it's not a lunar weapon anymore, but it's one that was forged in the Hellfires. And again, not purpose-built for a function, but solely to inflict as much suffering as possible. Hence why the blade was made of obsidian. It's not designed to be as sturdy as a sword. It's designed to shatter and chip. Because those chips and shatters will then slice into whatever is attacking you. Again, to cause pain and suffering. Alright, we're going on a journey, so I can sit down. I've been standing for a few hours, so I'm going to sit down. Oh. Man, what'd you guys think of the... Oh, hang on, we need to go on a journey here. I forgot the... Oh. Hi. What'd you guys think of the Hellhound's description? Like, were you able to picture what it looked like? Were you able to kind of see it in your mind, what it looked like? Yes, more or less. Nice. Oh, wait. And kinda. Hold on. Okay, yeah, kinda. Alright, good. Like, again. No, you got it. Well, you did because it wasn't on live. But yeah, what Prosecutor Valentine said was, it was pretty good, to be honest. The Hellhound is a filthy motherfucker. Yep. Again, gluttonous Hellhounds. When you have hellhounds of, say, like Sloth, they're much more skeletal-like. They look much more emaciated, much more skeletal. Like, they still have more of their fur and stuff like that. Because their whole thing is they're engaging in sloth. So, they're not, like, feeding a lot or eating a lot. So, they look more like moving corpses. And again, Sloth is the very deceiving one. Not by intention, mind you. Like, deceit by intention is envy. That's what envy does. Envy is very two-faced. And that goes the same thing for their, for the way that the Hellhounds of Envy look. They look very, like, manipulative and scheming, stuff like that. Like, a smirk on their face. They're the ones that most, the smilers most resemble the Hellhounds in Envy's case. Because they can't help themselves, right? They're engaging in their manipulation schemes. It's part of their jealousy, part of their way to bring down something they're envious of. Very untrustworthy, very duplicitous. Yeah, Sloth is very deceptive, not by intention, but by function. Like, because Sloth wants things to stay the same. And that doesn't just mean, like, it's not just that they're lazy and they want to sleep. A lot of them do, like, want to rest and lay down. But, for example, as I explained, in the hell of sloth itself, there is a thing. When you get pulled from the drowning, and again, let me know if you guys don't remember what each of these things are. Like, when you get pulled from the drowning and pulled into the hells itself, for sloth, there are this needle-like root that's growing everywhere. And you can see that people that have stopped moving and have, like, embraced slothfulness are writhing in agony on the ground as this weed is growing through them and is basically, like, pumping them full of nightmares and terrible things. So, your natural instinct is just don't fucking rest. Just stay moving. How long can you keep moving, though? How long can you keep going? Because even if you stand still, if you become idle, aka slothful, the weeds will just grow up through you, and you can be standing there as a statue. You don't need to be laying down the whole way. It's the mobility that keeps that from happening. The only things that aren't being pumped full of the weeds are the demons themselves. And those demons, many of them hellhounds, don't like when things are moving around. So they will get up and they will start tormenting the walkers to try to get them to stop. Stop moving. Stop making things different. Lay down. Stop it. And they will try to interfere. They'll try to get you to stop. They don't want to put much effort in, but they'll try to do what they can to get you to stop doing whatever you're doing to resist the placidness of everything, right? And it goes for the same thing when a hellhound of sloth is found in the wild. Like, they're very passive until something disturbs them. Again, the something disturbs them can literally be anything minute. Like, leaves falling will piss them off, right? And they'll flash out real quick until things stop. And then they'll go back into, like, a catatonic state. They're very deceptive in that way. They look like, because they don't move around a lot, they're just kind of, they look very skeletal. They're just kind of there. Like, you could mistake them for a corpse. But if you're within sight line of them, or hearing distance, or smelling distance of them, and it will piss them off. Like, they will bolt up, and, like, it's like springing a fucking trap, right? You basically popped a landmine. They fucking bolt upright and freak out and try to stop whatever's, like, interfering with them, and then they go back into a catatonic state again. So, very deceptive in functionality, not in, like, what they do. Oh, man, you got auto-translated hard. Get sloth, get sloth, get sloth. Yeah, get lazy, get lazy, get lazy. Oh. And that's the other thing, too. Like, I wanted to make clear that the sins are not, like, you know what I mean? Gluttony doesn't have to just be about consuming food, right? Sloth doesn't have to just be about sleeping all the time. There's a lot of them that do sleep. But they tried to make clear, what I tried to make clear, especially through the interaction at the diner, is that sloth can just be idleness, right? Sloth can just be wanting to be passive. You don't want to engage in things. You don't want things to change. You want things like, don't rock the boat. Just go with the waves. You know what I mean? You're very placid. It doesn't have to be literal laziness, right? Like, I don't want to do that because I'm lazy. No. It could be like they build a box and then go sit in the box because they don't have to deal with, like, the sunlight coming on them. They can sleep longer. It's that sort of stuff, right? It's their methodology of how they want to be slothful. And it's all different. It's why all the hells are so vastly different. Like, lust doesn't just have to be, like, carnal pleasure, right? It doesn't have to be sexual in nature. Lust can be lust for power, lust for gold. So you would think, like, wouldn't that be pride and wouldn't that be avarice? No, because pride is doing it for its own sake. Avarice is doing it for pure greed. Lust for these things is a sexual high. They are getting off on, like, acquiring it. It's the fucking femdoms and stuff like that, right? Those fucking weirdos. It's shit like that, where it's fetishized to them. That's the lustful nature of it. And it's the same thing with wrath. Wrath isn't just pure anger all the time. It is a seething, maulding, it's hatred, malice for its own sake. Right? It is there's a pettiness to wrath. Rouge the Bat, yes. Pretty much. So it was the same thing with what Michael said. Michael said his sin of pride gives him ruthless ambition. So he tries to dampen that intentionally by not rising to the station he feels he could, and he has those moments where he's like, dude, if I told everyone where this convergence point was, I'd make my name for myself, forever. It's those temptations, and he tries to resist that by trying to be more passive. He doesn't want to leave the Rangers. He doesn't want to risk, losing that. He worked hard to get the Ranger position. He wants to stay in that position. He doesn't want to rise past 3rd Talon, even though he could easily become 4th or 5th Talon. Because he wants to resist the ambitions. And Sarah has pride as well, but hers isn't ambition. Hers is acknowledgement. She doesn't want to be at the top. She just wants to be acknowledged, right? For what she does, what her actions and deeds are. That's what she craves. Her pride is that it needs to be known. Yeah, I did that. And she couldn't help herself in the diner, remember? She had to blurt out, I'd just like everyone to know I'm the one that took the hellhound's head. Or I took the smiler's head, right? She had to be the one to say it. And it was a moment of weakness for her. She couldn't, she's like, no, I don't want people thinking that Michael did it. I'm the one that did it. Right? Again, this is just a different form of pride. Yeah, I'm a couple pages into the Chapter 17 rewrite now, so that's going nice. And the Chapter 17 rewrite will be interesting because you're getting the description from the event itself, but then you have third-party narrators coming in to explain things. Again, going in through the description itself, and then suddenly William steps in with Isle Hattori. I'm sure you've heard of it, Samantha. The GDI called it Fortress Hattori, and was the first of the volcanic islands in the Kadisi chain. 3 major cities, 5 towns, 3 villages. The elves had spent a year with their machines and magics turning it into a terraced bunker in anticipation of the 5th World War. You know what I mean? So you have that. You have third-party narration coming in, while you also have the traditional story being told from the perspective of people in that event. So this will be a fun chapter. Because I make it clear in the writing that all the stuff that's from the third-party narration becomes italicized, right? And I don't describe what the person is doing anymore, the narrator is doing. It's much more like he explains further information. Like how their rank structure works. So they have the chevrons like we would in the United States. We use chevrons to indicate rank for the lower ranks, but they call them thorns for obvious reasons, right? It's rosentia. The rose theming goes deep all throughout because of the Rosalius family. The rose theming goes deep throughout Rosentia. So they don't call them chevrons, they call them thorns. And he was 3rd, which is technically means he's veteran private. So it goes private, senior private, veteran private. So he was 3rd at the time of the Isle Hattori landing. He was 3rd, 3 thorns. So he was veteran private. And then it goes to under sergeant, which is when they get their first thing underneath the 3 thorns, they get their first, what they call it, a rose bed. But again, it's rocker, so we would do chevrons and rockers. So they get their first 3 thorns, and they do a rose bed. That is the first one, known as under sergeant. And then the second one, you become sergeant, and then it goes up from there. Once you get into the officer ranks, it's no longer the bars like what we would use in the United States. No longer bars. Instead, they use stars. So they jump towards the general ranks that we use, but they use them earlier. So you use stars for your officer ranks. And it goes first, second, third lieutenant. Right? So it's first officer, second officer, third officer. And it's the same way. It's the inverse of what it is. You aren't first place, second place, and third place. No. First is literally you're at the bottom rung. The second rung up, the third rung up. Right? That's what it is. So it's first lieutenant, second lieutenant, third lieutenant. And then it goes into commander, and then goes to captain, and then goes up to major, and then into the general ranks. You no longer have stars, you go to roses themselves. So, first rose, brigadier, second rose, major, third rose, lieutenant, fourth rose, general. I know it conflicts with lore, but it would be funny if the royal family is so associated with roses because they started as gardeners for a noble. Yeah, no. No nobles beforehand, but the Rosalius family were known for tending to gardens, right? It's kind of what set them apart in high society. There was no, like, nobility, but you still had, like, the in-crowd of people in Rosentia, right? You would have your in-crowd. These are your movers and shakers in the city. You'd have your wealthy merchants, your leaders of the various industries in the city, and so on, right? Your captain of the guard, your captain of the militias, they would be there. They'd be the movers and shakers. And part of the hobby that the Rosalius family had was to tend to roses, because they associated it directly with their name, right? Rosalius, rose. So a lot of their iconography is rose-based. Once the march happens, and this is a couple years after the Rosentia marches on Baymouth and takes it. So Baymouth is a parasite city. This isn't used as like an insult to it. It's just economically, what is it? Baymouth doesn't produce anything, but it acts as a gateway to like trading with the rest of the world or trading with other city-states. You have to travel through Baymouth to get to the sea. So Baymouth, again, very creatively named because it's at the mouth of the bay that is a kind of like an atoll that branches out towards the sea. Baymouth was basically like taxing, you can come through here and use our services, but you need to pay us some money. Give us some dosh. Rosentia only tolerated that for a couple years before they marched an army down through and conquered Baymouth. And then that set the wheels in motion. The Rosalius family decided that, if we do that, why don't we just head south and take Dainsport? Why don't we head further south and take LaPradia? So that then started the wheels turning towards 2 years later, the march begins. And that is when the conquering of Rosentia starts. This is also, again, remember, they don't have a nobility yet. They haven't established, like, titles and deeds and stuff like that yet. They're still just the movers and shakers within the city-state of Rosentia. Now, though, it's not really a city-state anymore, because now you're starting to incorporate other cities and towns and villages, right? You're moving beyond just a solitary city-state. You're moving into where you're starting to form a country. This is how the Republic starts. It starts as kind of alongside, and this was influenced heavily by the Vordir, they started manipulating it towards, what if you had a dual system? So you had checks and balances against each other, right? You have a dual system. You have the nobility and you have the elected, the electorate, right? So the nobility will be ones you are born into your station. This is to hopefully guarantee that you will rise to the challenge of that rank of leadership. We'll have the Rosalius family at the very top. They are in control of everything. Nothing challenges the Rosalius family. But the Chancellor, who is part of the elected, he has the same sort of rank functionality as the crown princes do. The king gets to determine everything, but what the Chancellor says holds a shit ton of sway. And the only reason this was tolerated was because it was start from the beginning, right? This isn't a system you could put in place if you already had a peerage, because why the fuck would the peerage agree to it, right? This was only put in place at the insistence of the Vordir, specifically the Guardian Wolves of Rosentia, who were like, this is the way the system should work, to allow that no tyrant, be it elected or born, can actually, like, fuck the system over. Right? You want to have a balance where both of them can kind of lean against each other to make sure that nothing gets kind of fucky-wucky. It's why, specifically, in Gardens of Nature, William mentions maybe going to the royals instead, maybe going to the nobility with the problems of the NDA. Because it's clear, the NDA just had a purge 3 years ago. The fact that Lapradia is this fucking corrupt, the NDA in Lapradia is this horrifically corrupt, means the purge 3 years ago was fucking pathetic. It didn't get anything done. So, something has to change, right? Yeah, contingencies. And that's the other thing, too, was that it's the same thing. Because normal monarchy is a very single-point failure system, right? If you get a cruel leader, the system collapses. And you need revolution or something to overthrow that leader, and it will cause all kinds of power struggles and like all kinds of like detriment stuff, right? If you have contingencies already built in place, so if the king becomes super corrupt and the chancellor deposes them, you can then have another member of the Rosalius family take the throne under the supervision of the chancellor. And then after the supervision ends, it goes back to the system that it was. There's a way to rebound from the system without creating the horrific power vacuums and struggles for the throne itself. And it goes all the way down, right? Because the nobles can challenge what the electorate have as well. You could have a system where the entire electorate, which doesn't happen, by the way, because, again, the way that this works is there's not special interest groups or anything like that in Rosentia. Like, there's a lot of stuff to ensure that the people that are elected have to have earned it. And what that means is, again, it's the sort of federation in Starship Troopers, right? You are not allowed to hold office of any kind unless you have earned your citizenship rights. And that citizenship right is specifically to hold office, to teach, and to vote. Until you earn that, you have your basic rights of dignity, which is what it's called in Rosentia, right? You have the right to life, to liberty, and happiness. Those are your basic rights of dignity. But if you want to affect things, if you want to hold power, if you want to teach, you need to go that next step. You need to prove through service to Rosentia that you are willing to take on the extra burden. So you have a lot more of, there's not as much like wild, rampant votership stuff. There's a lot more, everyone has to be, you have to be an informed voter. You had to have actually gone out of your way in order to earn your right to vote to begin with. And once again, it's not set up to where you need to be in the military. That's how William got it. Military, you get it in 4 years, right? And it's 4 years specifically because they want to make sure you want it. So you can leave the military at any time, but you 4 years in service, you get your citizenship rights to vote. Otherwise, if you go to the citizenship office, which is a government function within Rosentia, you can then be like, hey, I want to go for my citizenship, but I don't want to serve in the military. So they'll be like, okay, you're going to spend 10 years doing this. Okay, you're going to spend 8 years doing this. Right? For us. Oh, you're really good at, you've done like road work and construction your whole life? Okay, well now you're going to do road work and construction on government contracts for the next 8 years. That's all you're going to do. You go where we say you go. You're going to travel where we say you are. You're going to work on the jobs we want you to work on for the next 8 years. And again, that's just to prove you want it. Right? You actually want it. You stick through the entire thing and they're like, okay, you've proven that you want it, you want to work for it, you want to have it. And again, you offered a service to Rosentia. Again, you were working on government contracts the whole time as part of your service. Also, this is where William will be interacting with them more, but the household guard, they have their own military ranks and systems too. Again, for the same exact reason, it's contingencies, right? They're more akin to like militia, and each household, depending on like its affluence, will have different levels of guard. So like the count that William was going to interact with in Grey Wolf, who is the count that runs the La Pradia area, his household guard they're decently well off. Because again, La Pradia is a moneymaker. It is a port city, right? Ports bring in a lot of fucking money. They also can bring in a lot of fucking crime, which is why the Vink family wants La Pradia. Vink already controls Danesport, but Danesport's kind of a ruin, right? Sure, it's been 15 years since the bombing of Danesport, but it hasn't, like, sprung back. You know what I mean? Danesport is very much, it looks like Detroit, right? Lot of abandoned buildings, a lot of neighborhoods that are just kind of collecting dust. Like, a lot of stuff that hasn't been cleaned up because nobody has the money or drive to want to clean up, like the bomb debris and stuff like that that's still around. So Danesport is very much a shithole. So it's not bringing in a lot of money. And this also goes for the noble that is working on it, because again, his finances literally got fucking nuked. What's the noble and the governor going to do when, like, we can't just make money out of nowhere? Like, we can't do any of these operations. Nobody wants to live here. It's all well and good for us to rebuild the houses and everything, but if nobody wants to live here, nobody wants to live here. It's all well and good to have the ports open, but the ports are like, yeah, but if we just go a little bit further south, we can go to La Pradia. Or if we go further north, we can go through Weymouth and go to the capital. So they're very much stuck in a like lose situation all around. If you invest a bunch of money into the ports, are they really going to go there instead of now continuing to go to La Pradia and going to the capital? Like before, you had all the industry there in Danesport that would support that. Be like, okay, there are the warehouses there are the factories there. There's reasons to actually go to Danesport. And again, if you don't fix up the port, you're not going to fix up the factories. If you fix up the fort, but you don't have the factories, they're still not going to go to Danesport. They're going to go to La Pradia or the capital. So again, it's just one of those cycles. It's just they're stuck in a vicious cycle of dying. That's what Danesport is. William doesn't care, though. In Grey Wolf, he's going to set up his headquarters in Danesport. And that's slowly just because of his sheer stubbornness and wanting to like take back the city that he lost. He wants to take back the city he lost. That slowly brings in more businesses. And once more businesses start showing up, you have more reason for people wanting to actually be there, right? Because once Grey Wolf is there and starts offering its security services, well, now you have the shops and everything are a lot safer. Neighborhoods feel a lot more comfortable, so people start moving closer towards Grey Wolf. People are moving in houses that are adjacent from Grey Wolf's headquarters, or they're moving in houses that are just a couple blocks away. Like, they know this area is getting safer, it's being taken care of. And that puts people more into taking care of the lawns around it, into the yards, the roads. The warehouses start getting rebuilt. Oh, because he's stubborn. But somebody has to be the one that takes the hit and be like, no, I'm just going to sit here, hell or high water. I don't care. Right? I don't care that Danesport is technically a dead city. I don't fucking care. I'm sitting here. This is my city. And then, of course, again, once he starts getting people there, he's going to bring in more people that want to join his tribe. His tribe is going to need food. His tribe's going to need water and services and things like that. So, again, there's more reason to actually have, like, grocery stores there and butcher shops and small eateries and diners. There's more reason for this to happen. So there's more reason for people to come and live here. And those people that come live here, they're going to need jobs. So there's more reason for factories to start reopening. Which means there's more reason to actually repair the docks so that you can get ships that come in to feed those factories. Yeah, Danesport is just in a very unfortunate position. Like, it's called the unlucky twin for a reason. Yep, basically. Yeah. And then again, because of Grey Wolf, a lot of Danesport's stuff, a lot of its new factories and things like that, they start with like arms manufacturing and everything like that. And they start making a name for themselves. And again, you'd be like, well, that's vulnerable. Like, who's going to protect the arms factories? Well, Grey Wolf is going to protect them. Grey Wolf Securities is going to come in and protect it. So they're literally feeding Grey Wolf, and then because they're manufacturing it, well, Grey Wolf doesn't need all the bullets ever, so what if we start exporting some of these bullets elsewhere? What if we try to, like, find our niche within the markets? You know, we want to, Grey Wolf wants to start building more armored cars for itself. Grey Wolf wants to start building this, wants to start building that. So you're going to start having factories nearby that are going to start taking chances on it. Especially once Grey Wolf gets the royal writ, right? Once they get the royal warrant, they're pretty much set. That's a big part in the book Grey Wolf itself, is William working to get the royal warrant, going through the count, going up to the duke, and then going to the princes and everything, and finally meeting with the king. He's trying to show them, like, I need you to understand why. Because news is already starting to spread, right? Yeah, basically that's the problem, right? Because it doesn't have anything to offer. It needs to import everything to make anything it needs. So once they start getting, like, reasons to have stuff, they can start having reasons to set up new mining operations. They have reasons to set up new logging operations, right? If you don't have those reasons, why would you do that there? Right? Like, you don't go to be a sand seller or a glass salesman in a desert. You give reason my joke. Yeah. Suck it. Suck it. Get joked. Get reasoned. But yeah, that's the big part is once William gets the royal warrant, that kind of cements the thing. And again, the nobles are trying to figure out, like, how in the fuck have the NDA not crushed Grey Wolf? Right? Because that's part of the whole thing that Samantha suggests and William agrees with, is that they need to be more loud about this. Like, the assassination of the mage is one thing, right? We need to be more, like, out there about what we're doing. So, the attack on Danesport's NDA was pretty open. And again, and it was openly acknowledged that who owns this plot of land? It is William Lowell. The same William Lowell that the NDA is now putting out a moratorium on, like enemy number one. Enemy number one, William Lowell. And what does enemy number one, William Lowell, do as they're building the foundations of Grey Wolf? He fucking attacks the NDA in Danesport. Openly. Like, armored vehicles that literally say Grey Wolf on the side of them roll up to the warehouse district and attack one of the warehouses. And they're pulling out what are clearly members of the NDA. So, it becomes very open very quickly that the NDA and the Grey Wolf aren't getting along. To the extent of how much the conflict is going on is kept a secret, but there's enough going on to be like, well, what's going on? What's the story? What's the scoop? Why are these things happening? For the inner circle, right? The local populace, they don't know what's going on. They don't know those are NDA, but the highest electorate, like the chancellor and the director of the NDA, they know what's going on. The nobles know what's going on. So they're like, okay, why is the NDA being so passive when you're literally, like, shanking it to death? Why isn't it, like, fighting back? And William gets to present his evidence to the nobility. Be like, this is why. The NDA is hopelessly corrupt. Hopelessly. And I have the dirty fucking secrets. I know how hopelessly corrupt it is. And they damn sure don't want, like, everyone in Rosentia to get all this information that the NDA is actually doing. And that kind of makes the nobles go like, you know what? You know what? The NDA has pissed me off for quite a while. You know, for any number of grievances, right? Like the NDA, like for national security's sake, we need to confiscate your incoming goods, right? And the nobility just had to kind of take it on the chin. Be like, okay, fine. I don't know why, but fine. Do what you want. National Defense Agency, go for it. And so there's they've rubbed a lot of the nobility the wrong way, right? But there's been no excuse, because how do you justify, like, that's it, we're against the National Defense Agency, destroy it, bring it all down? Well, now the nobility doesn't need to. They have a third-party agitator that's doing it for them. So the nobility's going to side with the agitator and be like, you go get him. Yeah, you fuck him up. I remember that shit 15 years ago, NDA. You think I forget? No. I remember all the bullshit I had to go through with you. So again, this is kind of how Grey Wolf protects itself too, right? Because it becomes a knowledge within the highest offices of the electorate and the nobility that Grey Wolf and the NDA have legitimate bad beef with each other for very good fucking reason. And so that's why they kind of need this to be kept on the down low. Right? Like, you can have Grey Wolf driving around and it's armored vehicles, stuff like that, but we can't. Like, we can't let this turn into, like, open gunfights in the street. Right? So when Grey Wolf cracks an NDA headquarters site, it has to look like it's a security operation from then on, right? It needs to look like they're, like, attacking a criminal organization or something like that. And the NDA tries to clap back. They try to find, like, justifications, but they have to take on more and more shady and extreme measures, like using drive-bys or car bombings and stuff like that. Like, again, they become much more criminal because it's the only way they can really fight back. The NDA can't openly go to war and, like, declare Grey Wolf are an enemy of the state. Because, one, the royal writ now says, no, they are working on behalf of the Rosalius family. And two, Grey Wolf has all the dirty secrets. And they didn't just keep it with themselves, they made sure they passed that around to their allies. So Everglade now knows all your dirty secrets. The Rosentian Rangers know all your dirty secrets. A fucking porn studio named Smiling Wolf Studios knows all your dirty fucking secrets. Like, they've made sure they haven't just left it with government agencies. They've done a major corporation. They've done, like, a sort of, like, risky, dirty business knows it and stuff like that. So they can't just deal with them, right? They can't just outright depose them and make it public and knowledge in the open. So they have to find ways to fight back. So they, ironically, the NDA becomes more and more criminal as it goes on, right? It's no longer a shady government organization. It starts engaging in far more criminal-like behavior in order to fight back because it's trying to survive. The North remembers. Never forget, never forgive, never found to be wanting. And that's basically how the NDA starts to unravel, right? No, because, again, they want it. It's one of those, like, potentials, right? They know, the NDA knows that William is meeting with a man who potentially is Jonathan Wolfwood, or maybe Jonathan Oldfither. They're starting to put the pieces together, and he operates Smiling Wolf Studios. They don't know why he's meeting with him, but they know he hands off folders to him and everything like that. So, Jonathan Oldfither, Smiling Wolf Studios, is a very high risk. There's nothing been shown about it. They don't know for sure, so they can't tip their hand. And also, again, unknowns to the NDA, fucking Smiling Wolf Studios got nothing to fear. Glass Den, which is the actual name of the tribe that runs Smiling Wolf Studios, Glass Den's got no fucking fear. They're like, you kidding us? We've been fighting with the Vink family for decades. Like, almost a century at this point. You think we're afraid of the NDA? Boy, we run the underworld here in La Pradia. This is our fucking playground. Which is why they get into fights so much with the Vink family. Vink wants La Pradia. Vink technically controls Danesport. But remember, Danesport's a shithole. It's not bringing in tons of lucrative business. So, Vink is like, well, we can't get too close to the capital. Because the capital, the Rosalius family, will not tolerate shenaniganry. And they will use their royal guard to fuck us. Hard and fast. However, La Pradia, if we can push these upstart porn-peddling pieces of shit out of La Pradia, we can get La Pradia. And we can get access to all the markets. We can bring in drugs and guns and things like that through the ports. That's what they want. And that's why, like I said here in Nightfall, they said security assessment, which was code for the people working the docks to know, oh shit, likely there's going to be an attack on the docks. Imminent threat has been identified. And the docks have been dancing to Glass Den's like fiddle for so long, they're basically one and the same. Right? Glass Den runs the docks. The docks are Glass Den's. So 229 to 244. Yeah, that's 15 pages now. Man, oh man. That one, The Living Pieces, was such a short chapter in comparison. It's such a shorty chapter. Nightfall was much longer. Or was it Scrutiny that was such short? Oh yeah, Scrutiny was the 13-page one. No. Yeah, anyways, the rank structures, I'm working on all the rank structures for the different branches of the military, and the reason it's called the Marine Corps in Guardians of Nature as well is because it is a department of the Navy, just like we have here in the United States. The Marines are Navy. They are a part of the Navy. I also have some of the like old lore that a lot of people don't know about the Marine Corps in the U.S. I've kind of incorporating some old lore of the Marine Corps into Rosentia's Marines as well. Like on top of their hats, they have the stylized rose that's embroidered into the top of their hats, and that was so the sharpshooters up in the old ships when they were using the old muzzle loaders or eventually the breech loaders and stuff like that, they wouldn't shoot their friends. They would be able to look down on brawls going on when they were boarding other ships, and they'd be like, okay, which one is a Marine, which one is an enemy combatant? And they would be able to tell because on the hats they had the rose. So they know, okay, don't shoot them, shoot those fuckers instead. Right? It's the same thing with the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps, in real life, on top of the white cover, has their white hat, their dress hat, it has the quatrefoil on it. The quatrefoil was the symbol that Marine Corps sharpshooters that were up in the rigging of the ships would look for. If they saw the quatrefoil, they wouldn't shoot that person. If they didn't see the quatrefoil, they shot that person. That person was getting gotted. That person was getting express delivery. Oh my goodness, yeah. Yeah, I think it would be fun. Like, in-universe, Rosentia has its kind of Game of Thrones moment, where you have a rose and its thorns, which is kind of like the dramatic retelling of the history of how Rosentia rose. I think that would be fun to have like an actual thing acknowledged in multiple like games and stuff like that, or stories like people talking about just in passing like the latest episode or whatever. I think that'd be fun. Mexicans that fought with the Texans put playing cards in their hat. Nice. Yeah, again, friend-foe identification is very fucking important on a battlefield. Being able to know who is who on a battlefield, very important. Because shit gets chaotic. And it's one of those things like, well, I am soldier 2653, and I don't know you, new soldier. Therefore, you're not in our army, so I kill you. You're soldier 2653. Do you know all 2,652 other soldiers beneath you? Let alone however many are above you? Do you know all of them? Do you know all their faces? Do you know all their names? I don't fucking think so. That's why, again, uniforms and being able to positively identify friendlies is very fucking important. Once you get beyond like a couple dozen people in a group, being able to identify other members of your group, very fucking important. If you're in any kind of conflict, very important to be able to identify accurately who is who. Oh my goodness sakes. Yeah. So again, that's kind of how Grey Wolf like survives the way it does and how it thrives throughout. It's amazing how long armies went without uniforms. But there's a lot more surprising things where armies did have uniforms, right? In my book for White Tower, which is on the world of Sakara, in White Tower, they make it very fucking clear, like, the way they identify friend and foe is the colors. So it's very, like, gang warfare, right? The House Drever... Yeah, House Drever has reds. They're the reds. Then you have Charon, which are the black and golds. And you have... Oh my god, how long has it been since I talked about White Tower? Jesus Christ, who's the third family? The third family. House Drevin. House Karen. House... I could picture their emblem easy. It's an open book with brown borders on a purple field and a blue flame coming out of the book, because they're the ones that control the Mage District, and they control White Tower itself. Weaver, House Weaver. That's it. So you have House Drevin, House Weaver, House Karen. The Drevin are the Reds, so a lot of their stuff, red gambeson, red like wrappings, stuff like that, Reds. The purples are from House Weaver, and then the black and golds are the black with gold filigree of the mercenary groups from House Karen. So that's how they positively identify themselves. It's also how a lot of medieval armies would do it, where you had an overall kind of thematic thing, like you would carry the lion's banner, right? And that was your overall army. And then the sub-armies may have like one pauldron painted in the banner of the lion, so maybe like red on a pauldron. And then you would have your particular house you were working for, because you didn't have like... There was no like army of England in medieval times, right? It was the army of the Lancasters, the army of the Essex, the army of so on. You know, you had each of these household things, and you called your banners. Your banners would then come, and then they would identify themselves with like either a wrap around the helmet, or a pauldron would be painted hastily with like the color of what group were you with. We're with the Reds, we're with the Lion. So we have red pauldron, or we wrap red around our arms, or red around our helmets, so we know we're part of the Reds. And then you have your individual, like I have the black and whites of the ducal house I work for. Yes, it gets very confusing. Yeah, color identification was a thing quite a lot. Even without a unified uniform, you still had color identification in armies. God damn it. All right. Hang on. Found a meme. And it amused me so much seeing it on the side, so. Meme and shitpost. Here it goes. Ah, yes. I'll post it up here on the screen for you guys, too. Here you go, chat. Here you go. Everyone, are you going to continue to post stupid memes? Me. Yeah, boy! Oh, hooray. Hooray for stupid memes. Oh, wait. I think there was a video or meme or something I wanted you guys to see. Hang on. I feel like there was one that I hadn't posted yet that I was saving. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. No, I did Welcome to the Redemption last time. Valid Crash Out's funny, but we've already done that one. God, Valid Crash Out is one of my favorites. One of my favorite memes of all time is Valid Crash Out. God. Hey, you guys are 2 minutes from closing. Can I order something? Yeah, sure. Fuck! Hang on, dude. Hang on. Just in case if you guys don't remember Valid Crash Out, let's do Valid Crash Out.
Hi, it's 9:58. Can I still order?
Oh, yeah, of course. What can I do?
Can I have 2 large cheese pizzas, please?
Yeah, of course.
10 veggie pockets. Hi, it's 9:58. Can I still order?
Oh, yeah, of course. What can I do?
Can I have 2 large cheese pizzas, please?
Yeah, of course.
10 veggie pockets.
You fat fuck! Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's genuinely so good. It's just so fucking funny. It's just so fucking funny. Oh my god. You fat fuck. Okay. Okay, chat. Alright, I'm gonna go put something in the air fryer for some food, for some sustenance. Yes, sustenance. I'll be right back. And then we'll probably do some, like, Planet Crafter or something. Right? Just to kind of relax. We can keep talking about the book and everything like that, which I want to do. Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm back. I'm here. What? Death. Oh, dude, that sounds awesome, and yet mixed reviews. Sorry, I saw a game. It sounds awesome. How fucking apparently it's very positive lately. Yeah, Reaper Actual is an open-world, persistent shooter where hundreds of players engage in FPS combat against each other and 5 NPC factions on the massive war-torn island of Morova. Level your Reapers, maintain a home base, and complete missions to earn gear and reshape the world. Sounds awesome. I very much like that fucking idea. Are you a launch trailer? What kind of trailer are you? I don't know what trailer this is, but let's go. No, like I mean, maybe can you join the NPC factions? I don't know if you can or not, right? pace. I need to know more about the actual mechanics of the game itself, you know? I think this is a slower FPS, right? They're just showing it as a highlight reel, you know what I mean? Because if this is an open world, like, you physically have to drive there or get there somehow, right? To do anything.
Another beautiful day in Morova.
You know what I mean? So, I would assume that it's slower pace. They were just doing a sizzle reel, right? This is gameplay.
Welcome to Morova, Reaper.
Yeah, I feel like they're trying to sizzle reel it too much.
Enemy spotted.
That was a player base, of course, according to the other trailer.
Need backup.
Reaper Actual coming soon.
They didn't really give us any, like, actual gameplay details. That was coming soon, though. What's this? Alright. Oh, that's long. Fuck it, we got time. We got time. I want to know.
Actual. Developer series. Open world persistent shooter.
Reaper Actual isn't some round-based game. Morova is a seamless living.
Okay, so, like I said, not round-based. It's a seamless world. So, again, you don't, like, go on missions. So, it's not Battlefield-y or Call of Duty, right? Though those other trailers are making it look that way. Like I said, with it being a persistent world, you'd have to be... A persistent open world, I mean, you'd have to have it be where... You can't have it be super fast-paced all the time.
Reaper Actual isn't some round-based game. Morova is a seamless living world that keeps evolving, growing. The time, weather, faction missions, player bases, the economy, they're all persistent, whether you're online or not. They keep going. You're not just joining a match, you're joining a war. Hi, my name is Matt Higbee. I'm the Chief Creative Officer at Distinct Possibility Studios, and I'm the Creative Director on Reaper Actual. So at its core, Reaper Actual is a persistent world game. And this actually makes a huge difference to your gameplay experience. So, in a typical session-based shooter, you're used to logging into the game, queuing for matchmaking, you find your group of players, and it spins up a world for you guys that lasts 30...
Okay, this is not indicative of anything, right? Yeah, this is not indicative of anything. But a thing I noticed... I think I noticed because it's so antithetical to my mouth, that his canines are so much lower. My canines are very pronounced in my mouth, right? My canines are way up above my incisors. In fact, they actually have to fit in against each other. So it's just funny that his canines are like lower than his incisors. Again, it's not indicative of anything. I just find it funny, and it's funny that I immediately looked at it and was like, is that normal? I'm so used to my canines being so much more pronounced. Like, I have actual fangs, and I have my bottom canines are a lot more pronounced too. They stick up, what, like a half inch? Yeah, maybe a quarter inch to a half inch above my incisors. So again, and not knocking you or not knocking this dude or anything. It's just that's my mind immediately was like, really? Look, they're so much lower. His canines are so much lower than his incisors.
It spins up a world for you guys that lasts 30, 45 minutes, and then it's over. But in a persistent world...
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be more like Rust.
...game like Reaper Actual, the world continues to run 24/7, with new objectives being created, new goals being created, players coming into and out of that simulation, and it continues. It doesn't stop. And this opens up an entirely different way of experiencing a first-person shooter. Morova is a massive living world, and it's populated by 5 rival factions that are all operating with their own goals, their own sort of needs-based decision-making, their own strategies. They all have their own sort of machinations for what they're trying to do in the game world. And part of what you're doing over time is learning a little bit about not just what's happened in Morova recently, but what's happened.
You know, I really wish I had taken care of my teeth more as a kid, right? I really wish I did. But I didn't. Because I was an idiot. And I was young. I was young and dumb. And now I'm paying the price of, like, trying to desperately keep them. I'm paying the price for sure. I mean, I do floss every day. I brush now. I use rinses and everything. But it's just, like, man, oh man, I was hard on my teeth when I was young. I was hard on them. So, yeah, I wish I had taken care of them better. Because I think I would have a really good smile. Especially with how pronounced... Again, my canines are very pronounced. Anyways, I'm going to go get my stuff out of the air fryer. Be right back. All right, let's continue.
and an ancient history, and you're getting all of that through your interactions and progression with these factions operating on the island. You do this through missions. So each faction has different missions that they're willing to offer you, and through these missions, you're learning little tidbits of story, you're learning little tidbits of relationship between these characters, and it kind of all ties together this larger story that's playing out across the island. And part of having a persistent world isn't just that the story is evolving and that the world is growing, but it's also extremely dynamic in a moment-to-moment sense as well. So by that we mean we have, for example, a day-night cycle. So players are coming into the game world at different times of day. If you happen to be coming in to do a nighttime operation, that might affect the way that you gear yourself out to be able to take on the challenges that operation is going to have. Similarly, we have weather systems that give more environmental dynamics. So, for example, if a heavy rainstorm is coming through, it'll create a lot of sound, and it'll make it harder for you to hear nearby enemy footsteps, maybe even gunfire that's happening at a medium distance to long range away. So it changes the way that you approach the world, and it changes the way that maybe you would interact with or take on different challenges in the game world. So not only is the world constantly evolving in terms of what it's presenting to players, different simulated battles happening in different locations, factions fighting over different resources, and that's constantly changing, constantly shifting, but the actual world dynamics themselves are changing over time as well. In Reaper Actual, players have bases that are directly connected to the persistent world, and actions in the persistent world can leave your bases vulnerable to attack. Your base can actually be raided by players or by NPCs for crossing certain red lines in the faction gameplay, completing certain missions, certain types of assassinations can leave you open and your base actually vulnerable to being attacked by players coming in from the persistent world to raid your base. This is something that would never happen in a world that didn't have a persistent world to connect players together. And players also are earning over time the ability to unlock new types of weapons, new types of gear, new types of vehicles through their progression with these factions. And those rewards last longer than just a session. They last longer than just a season. You could have a reward that you earned several seasons ago from accomplishing certain goals for a faction that bringing it into the persistent world this season gives you an enormous asymmetrical advantage over players because it's not common in the meta anymore, but it is something you earned when it was available. Again, these are stakes and sort of strategic decisions that players are making that expand well beyond just the current session, well beyond the current season, into the entire lifetime of your interaction and gameplay. We're heading towards the final stretch of what we call our Foundation Alpha milestone, and this is really where the rubber hits the road. With these kinds of games, we can do so much testing internally to understand how the game feels, how it plays, but until we have real players coming in and playing the game for longer sessions, hundreds of players playing it simultaneously, we can't fully validate our assumptions and our game design. So this is the point where having a dedicated group of players joining us, giving us feedback, not just playing the game, but actively engaging with us on where we should be taking the game and what we should do with it is so critical. So please join us. We would love to have you help us build this game.
Reaper Actual.
Yeah.
Foundation Alpha coming October 6th.
That's it. I think it's interesting. I'll keep an eye on it. It's on sale right now. Alright, anyways, what I was going to do. It was just there in my discounts and events thing on Steam. Like, the first thing that pops up, discounts and events. Hey, from Poland with love. Green Hell, Frostpunk 2. Should we play one of these games and then blame Grindness for everything? Man, how cheap is Green Hell now? Like, Green Hell should be pretty cheap, right? Purgatory is $15. Werewolf the Apocalypse Purgatory. Good lord. Oh, I didn't know. Oh yeah, Robopop Rope City was from Poland. Oh. Well, Grindness, I can only make fun of you so much, because that was a fucking banger. Where is... Where is Green Hell? Yeah, I've already got Leica. I've already played it and beaten Leica. I literally got everything done in Leica. Tempest Triad, coming in 2026 at some point. It's got dinosaurs in it. Dinosaurs. I'd be surprised how many games came out of Poland and how many Poles were involved. Yeah. Oh, those are all upcoming games. Okay, so not that category. Wait, Valor Mortis was a Polish game? Thought for sure it'd be French. No, apparently not. Or maybe a Polish studio helped them with it, maybe, and they're just like, yeah, dude, totally. How dare you hurt the whoopies? Boo! Winter survival, boo! How dare you hurt the whoopies? I would love a survival game that actually, like, gives wolves proper behavior, or animals just in general, right? But wolves are usually the most misunderstood ones that have the worst behaviors, because they're just aggressive all the time. Like, they don't have any, like, shows of threat, they don't have their retreat range or anything like that. It'd be interesting. Like, Minecraft is like one of the only games ever where the wolves aren't inherently hostile. In fact, they're very passive in Minecraft. Until you hit one, and then all the wolves go like, fuck him, get him! We're gonna jump him! Yump him good. Man, where the fuck is Green Hell? There it is. It's $3.74. I'm gonna buy Green Hell. Oh, wait. I bought Green Hell at some point. I didn't know it was in my fucking library. What? When? When did I buy Green Hell before? When? Where? What? How long have I had it? It's sitting here in the uncategorized category of categorization. Where? When the fuck did I get Green Hell? I don't remember. Well, cool. Save some money there. Alright, so what other Polish games then? Since I have Green Hill, apparently. I guess do we want to try that? Airport Contraband. Wait, there is a demo? A demo for the Dinosaurs game? Dinosaurs. Oh, hang on. There's a way better and more Polish demo. Called Odd Town. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna get that one. There's also one for Sportle. I'm gonna get these two demos. We're gonna try them, right? Because they both look absolutely wackadoo. Also, there's a thing called Flamecraft, which is a cutesy cozy dragon game. Neat. Neat! Neat! Give me. Give. I'm morbidly curious on a bunch of these. I'm ready for the next bitty bing, bitty bong, bitty bang. Alright. Alright, chat. So, here's the question. Do you want Odd Town? Do you want Odd Town or Sportle? Which one do you want to see first? Odd Town or Sportle? Those are your options. One or the other. One or t'other. One or t'other. One or t'other. Oh. I don't know why you're thinking I'm going to keep consuming my noms. I'm the first one to speak up, so fuck it. Odd Town it is. Let's go. Flying baguette! Flying... Oh, wait. Do you hear the music? Do you hear the music? I'm not going to a horror show. It really does sound like a horror game, doesn't it? Or like... what's a better one for it? Those like dark adventures, you know? Running through the depths of the French countryside, your car suddenly breaks down near a remote town called Saint Sectaire. Whoa! Whoa! View sensitivity. Much better. Okay, friend. Your car, well, engine's dead, completely. No fire, no noise, just gone. Like, give it up, give it up. No worries, we'll get her fixed. Might take a little while, though. Parts around here, they tend to wander off, like people. Here, we're the only garage in town, and we don't overcharge. Well, unless we don't like you. But I like you. You're quiet. That's rap. Your engine's toast. $300 and I'll fix it up. Car's not going anywhere until I see $300. No exceptions. Explore the town while we fix your car. It's very charming, full of secrets and unpaid debt. Okay. This might take a while. It is Le Green. Hello, Le Green. Alright, so fight. Oh my god. FMV hands. FMV hands, everybody. Oh yeah, baby. Oh, FMV kick too. Oh yeah, baby. We're in for a wild ride. Oh, the fuck? Oh, hello. Don't speak, just listen. You're in grave danger. There's a plot unfolding, and you're at the center of it. I'll tell you all about it, but first you have to help me. Meet me at my place. Look at the map on your right. It's on Baguette Street. There's a building called Lemedere. It's marked with an M. Go there, ring on the interphone, and I'll open the doors. Last floor, door on the right. Call me again if you need me to repeat. Okay. Come in. Actually came. Wow, statistically, I gave it a 14% chance, tops, but you're here. I'm Lucas, by the way. Sit, or don't. I talk either way. I'm about to dump some pure truth bombs, so strap in and hold on to your tinfoil hat. I used to work at City Hall, IT department. Quiet job, clean keyboards. Then one day, I get a work order to update the system. The mayor's office. Simple, right? Except the computer doesn't boot up. It hums, like Gregorian monk hums. And the screen flashes something in a language that made my nose bleed. Ever since then, folks have started going missing. So I've been digging, asking questions, making connections, losing sleep, but not losing hope. You get me? I managed to get linked... Sorry, let's close that. Managed to get linked to the town surveillance cameras. I can see everything. That's how I saw you running around like a headless chicken. Look, I know you don't talk. I respect that. Strong, silent type. Classic protagonist. You're perfect. I'm putting together a team, or maybe a gang. And I can't do this alone. Well, I could, but then I'd die. Or get abducted. Or abduct myself, which is a long story. So, you in? Perfect. Now we need allies. 3 of them. 3 very specific people. First, there's Justine. She's putting up posters. Faces of the missing. Not the Starpress girl, but she knows, and they know that she knows, and they are after her as we speak. Second, Elliot sells weed out by Lafayette Street. Total slacker energy, but he listens, knows the street. Third, Huguette. Elderly, angry, fired from City Hall last year. Official reason, hostile behavior. Real reason, she found a room in the basement that shouldn't exist. Huguette is sitting on a bench just by the mayor's statue. That's it. Justine, Elliot, Huguette. And then, you. Strong, silent, emotionally unavailable. A walking red flag with a good posture. It's beautiful. And me, I'm the glue. And the glue is expired and flammable. Together, we'll be more than a gang. We'll be a walking HR violation. Bring them in, all three of them. Convince them we're not crazy, just correct. If you ever get lost, confused, or just forget what the hell you're doing, just pick up any public phone in town and I'll give you directions. And don't even try to fight the cops, man. They're not normal anymore. It's like they're possessed or something. Also, if you need to change clothes, help yourself in the wardrobe. You'll need those to lose your wanted level. Like I told you. The scene puts up posters of missing people around town. I'll lead us somewhere in Lafayette Street. I get us sitting on a bench just by the mayor's statue. Scene puts up posters of missing people around town. Okay. Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ow. Hold on. Ow. 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 Sorry. Itchy scratchy. The itchy scratchies took hold. The itchy scratchies took hold. Alright, here we go. Missing posters lady first. Because they're after her, right? Oh. Well. Chez Perry. Okay, that's one lady. Look for Justine first. Oh. Eh. This is so goofy. This is so goofy, it's great. Narrow Street, yes. And Short Street, too. Poster lady. Where's poster lady? Policia. Policia. Where are you? Sorry, can't talk. Okay. Here's some missing poster. That's not a good sign. Right as I was gonna go look at the missing posters. Whoosh. Do you need something, boy? You lost, boy? Oh, absolutely. Oh, the man in the suit is absolutely one of them. Alright, can't talk. Okay. This town's not that big. How can I not find him? I'm just to talk with. Hello, young man. You look like you can throw a brick really well. Listen, I've got a task. I need you to destroy my car. Insurance still thinks it runs. Bless them. Go throw a few bricks at it. I want it smashed. Then we split the insurance money. I'll advance you your share, of course. Car situation on the corner of Burglar Street. It's the green one. Be careful. That area is full of cameras. Like I told you. Okay. I don't know you. It's my person and I don't know you. Alright, Burglar Street over there. Okay. Right. Oh, hi, I'm sorry. I'm trying to post up these posters. You know the missing people? Oh, there's someone who keeps, well, undoing all my hard work. So, do you think you could maybe, possibly, perhaps lend a hand? I know who's tearing down my posters and make that person stop. Me on the old quay when I'm finished with these posters. Okay. Well, we know who's doing it. Our fantasy you're running ahead of yours. This ain't it. So turn around, walk those squeaky little shoes, or get you saw me. You're not gonna talk me down, shame me, or spook me, or whatever the hell you're trying to do. Because you got fists that speak louder than your mouth. I surrender. Alright, you made your point. I surrender. Okay. Alright. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Beach. Bastard, beach. I need some. I'm hurting. I'm hurting. Alright, so this is the green car on Burglar Street, right? Unless people like Luigi's Pizza. Everyone goes to Pierre's nowadays. Just sit down and I'll bring the best pizza you've ever had. Okay. You kindly, sir. Appreciate it. All right. Oh my God! Oh. Hang on. Ah! Ah! He's tasing me, bro! Ah! He's tasing me, bro! Ew, poop. Oh. Whee! You gotta keep to me. Again, conspiracy theories? Hey, for more talking, man, I'm in. Call your friend Lucas. Perfect! Cleared! I'm no longer wanted, baby. Okay. I need to find that lady that's doing the things, because we got that guy to stop taking down all our posters. Oh, yeah, she's up by the quay, right? So... Oh, got a lock. What are you doing with these posters? Young stranger. Let's say your approach to problem solving is rather direct, but I can't deny its effectiveness. I'm just neat, by the way. You're not from here, are you? I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, it's not worth sticking around. You should get out of this town while you still can, if you want my humble advice. Young stranger, I'll remember what you've done for me. I'm sitting here for a little while, I need to rest. Let me join your team or what? You guys are crazy. I don't know. Maybe it's my only chance to know what happened to my friends. Alright, I'll give your friend Lucas a call. It's time we do something about the situation. Alright. Perfect! Huh? What? You do my work. Okay, fine, fine, fine. Fine. Ooh. That looks weird. Hmm. Hmm. Nope. Thought maybe throw a brick at the thing. Maybe. Potentially. I don't know. Alright, Luigi. I want some more pizza. Yes. Thank you, kind sir. Who's the last one we need? Okay. Elliot's somewhere on Lafayette Street. Okay. Lafayette Street's that road here. Okay. I need Kevin on Dead End Street. He'll give you a job if you need a quick buck. Big wet bastard's still out there. He doesn't care about your taxes, your ex-wife, or how often you shit your pants. He just eats things and spits them back outwards. Smell that? Salt, dead fish, and veiled dreams. Let's call this peaceful. I call it patient murder. You stare too long, it stares back and laughs. There it is. Meds are kicking in. Waves looking less judgy now. Might even forgive that seagull from last week. Not those damn clouds. They don't move for some reason, nor do they. So he's here somewhere on Lafayette Street. Is Lafayette Street also underneath here? Yeah, who are you? I don't know you. Oh, hey. I can use some help here. Kind of desperate, so I'll be frank with you. I threw 2 bags of my stash from the bridge on Lafayette Street. They both fell into the sewer. There was this cop, man, dead-eyed freak with a taser. No way I was getting fried again. But he saw me toss something off the bridge, and I think he's on my tail now. Maybe the bags are down there somewhere in the sewer, floating, waiting, or something. Grab them for me and I'll pay you. Oh, and if you get caught with my stash, well, you'll know what to do. And pray for not getting the glove treatment. Like I told you. Okay. Oh! Oh! That was Reefle! That was Reefle! Ow! Ow! Very Reefle indeed. I can cut this fence with the right tool. Okay. One bag. I don't see the other one. Just hanging out, doing normal street stuff. Hey. That's blood. Oh my god, he's right by the fucking place I need to go. What? Okay, he's over there right now. I need to come in here, change my shirt. Meow. Meow. Oh, you have to. Oh. Oh! What? Titty biscuits. Titty sprinkles. Titty sprinkles. Just like many others. You disappeared in the town of Saint Sectaire. Restarting. Oh, no. 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 I got blind forgetted. Blind forgetted. No. Alright. Next one. Sportle. Yeah. Sportle. Blind forgetted. Won't get me now. I'm going into Sportle. Oh, that cut short. Blood. Dusk. Sleepwalking Potatoes. It was a passion project created by 2 dedicated developers. This demo is just a taste of the carnage you'll be able to enjoy in the full version of the game. Understood. Oh, that's a profile picture. The fuck is it? I think we know where Keltec... I think we found someone who gets the same supplier as Keltec. Alright, play. The werefly, annoying flying insect-like creature, spits multiple stingers from its tail. The werefly! Oh god, that would suck. Which bruise? Shambler from the sandy shore, the fungus maniac. Frenzy 4, the butchering. Power Gem for your gains. Sports and balls with dynamite. 1 second. Really? You only gonna put up a 70? Bastard bitch. Look sensitivity. Select weapon type. Select. Okay. Versus hockey stick. Okay. Oh, perks.
Amazing.
Amazing.
And score. Amazing.
All right. Precise slingshot.
Triple kill. Multi-kill. Headshots.
Headshots. Vampire lacrosse.
Double score.
Double score. Oh.
Headshot. Arena completed.
Arena completed. Oh, invulnerable to spikes. Yes, sure. Pads. Ah, kick is right click. Okay, good. Boss in 10. Oh! Well, hello there, handsome. Mwah. Mwah. Alright. Crucible coin drop rate. $10. Sports and balls.
Headshot. Whoa.
Haha!
Double score. Triple score. Amazing.
Amazing!
Triple kill. Great job.
What is this? Oh. What's up here? There's another way to go, eh? Here to kick gum and chew ass.
Headshot. Double score. Triple score. Whoa. Double score. Multi-kill. Multi-score. Multi-score.
Well, bam! Oh,
Whoa. Triple score. Arena completed.
arena completed. Tasty, toasty, tasties. Tasty, toasty, tasty. I can't remember what game this reminds me of. There was a game like this. What? Oh, I only remember. Just remember. Yeah.
Headshot. Triple kill. Multi-score. Multi-kill. Double kill. Multi-kill. Multi-kill. Multi-score. Whoa.
Oh, I was trying to get him into the thing. I'm curious what happens if you would have got him in there. And run. Robo Mothman. Jardu. Look at you. You're not dead. Not anymore, at least. What happened? Well, it seems that you have a similar issue to mine. Every time we die, we're revived in the shopping mall. What? Yes, except your body looks fully healed. Every time I died, I was revived with a chunk of me missing. Anyway, go kill more monsters. Unadulterated violence is the best thing about this place. Push the button. Go. Barrel man.
Headshot. What a play. Double score.
See what happens. What's the deadly football like?
Triple kill.
Give me the Hawkum sticks.
Great job.
Great job. I can't get close enough to get that other one. It's lost to me, lost to the ages. Doing good. Being goofy, as usual. Ooh, vampire healing. Whoa!
Double kill. That's double kill. Double score.
I don't think the vampire hockey stick is doing anything for, or the vampire is one doing anything for me. Oh, wow.
Double score. Arena completed.
Woo! Alright, let's see what we got here. Additional armor, weapon damage boost. God, you hope it was coffee.
Double score. Triple kill. That's double kill. That's double kill. Great job.
More coins. This weapon is great. The hockey stick is fucking great. Oh. Hey, you want to hear a joke? Yeah, sure. Why do players take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing? Why? In case they get a hole in one. Good one. I'm afraid I haven't found anything interesting this time. Don't forget to check in next time, though. Doofus. What a silly bitch. What a silly bitch he is. Fly. Okay.
Double score. Multi-kill. That's double kill. Triple score. Double score. Triple score. Double score. Arena complete.
Yeah! Yeah, this is great. Hockey stick. Hockey stick of hell. Is he all right? I don't think so. No, I think he's lost it. He keeps kissing the werewolf. What? How that missed?
That's double kill.
11, 3, 7, 7, 2, 12. Rare backpack.
Double kill.
Oh, fuck, he's up. Ah! Alright, that's it.
Great job.
Bastard bitch. Sportle.
Double score. Movie score.
I need ammo.
That's double kill. Great job.
Great job. Only 29 coins that time. Hey, you want to hear a joke? Yep. What's the hardest part about skydiving? What? The ground. Good one. I really haven't found anything interesting this time. Don't forget to check again next time, though. Kind of letting the team down here, though. You know what I mean?
What a play.
Oh, shit.
Double score. Double score. Double score. Triple kill.
And more of a fire. I mean, I guess. Oh, actually, no. Silver coins.
Amazing game.
Amazing game. 4 more arenas, and we have the boss. Yes. This is another one of those games that was made by 2 people. 2 people! Boom. Okay. Ow. I mean, well, at least we can level this stuff up. You know. Ow.
Double score. Triple score. Movie score.
Oh my god!
Whoa. Triple score. Looks like
Oh, ah! I don't know what killed me. Oh, arena hazard. Damn. Yeah, so those were, like, great. The hockey stick was fucking great because it bounced between a bunch of them. Yeah, that's what I mean. Smash TV was one. There was another there was a remake of Smash TV. Not called that, but it was a bunch of rooms you could go in. And they had like different mechanics, stuff like that. It'd be like, suddenly this room was the buzzsaw room, or this room was the laser puzzle room, or this room was a boss head that's just out of nowhere, sort of thing. Yeah, this is man. Football was fun because AoE. As a Nosferatu type creature, even sucks your blood. Don't let it suck your blood. It even sucks your blood. Don't let it suck your blood. Just want you to know right now. Don't let it suck your blood. Frisbee, baseball, golfing. Damn. Cool.
What a play!
What a play!
Bullseye! What a play! Amazing! Double score! Multi-kill!
Sure, why not?
Double score!
This one doesn't do as much damage.
What a play! Great job!
Great job. 3 damage. This does 5. That is 5 with 9% luck. Total carnage. What a play. Big money, big prizes. You can't stop me. You can't stop me. I'll smooch him. I'll smooch him. You can't stop me.
Great job!
Ah!
Whoa!
Whoa!
Triple score!
Oh shit, I missed. Oh shit, I missed again.
That's double kill!
Oh, buyback back, hell yeah.
Double score! Multi-score! Multi-score! Great job!
Great job. Yep, diving lower for good luck. That's totally what it is. Just pure good luck. That's all it is. Don't look into it more. Ow.
What a play!
What a play! Slingshot of Terror. Okay, so this gives me more. Death Curse, Chance of Scare. I don't know what Death Curse is. Slingshot of Terror.
Amazing!
Amazing! Ow. Fuck.
Double kill! Multi-kill! Headshot!
Oh, wow.
Great job! Amazing! Triple score!
Way more damage.
Great game!
Great game. Great game. Oh, hi. Here, Joe? Yes, please. Why'd the baseball team hire a conductor to lead their pitches? Afraid I didn't find anything? Alright, fine. You're useless to me. A boost? I know, I can't wait to see what some of the other things are in the full game.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Double score!
Oh, shit.
Multi-kill! Multi-score!
Well, I mean, I guess we might as well do this, right? Yeah. Just give it a level higher.
Triple score! Great game!
Great game. Oh yeah, 100%. Mwah. Really, I didn't get enough for that. Okay, fine. I'll get it eventually. Don't you worry about it.
Amazing! Amazing! Double kill! That's double kill!
Nine to 14 luck. Just ammo packages.
Great job! Double score! Multi-kill! Arena completed!
Arena completed. Okay. Boost. Boost my slingshot even more. Yeah. Tipsy bowling ball is 1. Baseball is 1. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what they do.
Great job. Triple score. Double score. Triple score.
Hockey stick of boss damage.
Double kill.
Oh fuck, too high. Way too high on that one.
Double score. Great job.
There we go, ammo back up. 500 silver coins collected. Mwah. Okay. Coin drop rate.
Amazing. Double score. Triple score.
Oh, I missed. Oh, I missed again.
Double kill.
I don't need any of these. Boo. Boo, hiss, boo. Boo. I mean, I don't know what this does, right? What these boosts will do. I could try this, right? I want to get one more thing. Let's get rid of the slingshot of terror.
That's double kill.
That's double kill. I didn't have enough money to reroll. I was 3 coins shy of a reroll.
Double score. Arena completed.
This is actually really nice and potent too, so that's good.
Double score! Multi-score! Double score! Multi-kill! Double score! Multi-kill! Double kill! Triple score! Arena completed!
Arena completed. Thanks all my coinage. Oh! Want to hear a joke? Yes. Why can't pigs play soccer? They hog the ball. I'm afraid I haven't found anything interesting this time. Sad. You're really letting the team down here, Frank. I just want you to know this, buddy. You're really letting us down.
Double score!
Oh, here we go. Vulnerable to spikes and an XP boost. What does that give us? Pickup distance boost. Coins on death 300. Damn.
That's double kill! Double score! Triple score! Great game!
Ow! Oh, there's some ammo. I didn't have to hurt myself that badly. Mwah. Okay, next arena. One arena to the boss.
Double kill!
Vampire! Woo!
Double kill!
Oh, yes, baby. Health, give me health.
Double score! Double score! That's double kill! Arena completed!
Sheesh. Alright, next one's the boss. The boss. Want your joke? Yes. Why'd the golfer bring 2 pairs of pants? Why? Because he got a hole in one. That's a repeat! Except there was pants this time. Oh, my weapon damage went up significantly. Oh, my weapon damage! Alright. Oh my god, I need ammo. I need ammo bad. Final round.
Double score.
Please. Ammo. Ammo. Ammo.
Double kill. Double score.
Oh, they got ammo.
That's double kill. Double score. Triple kill. That's double kill.
Catch on fire, please. Catch on fire, please. Catch on fire, please.
Double score. Double kill. Double kill. That's double kill. Triple score.
Nope, it's a hockey stick.
Double score. Double kill. Double kill. Double score. Double kill. Double score. Double score. That's double kill. Double score.
Please, for the love of God. Ammo. Ammo.
Double kill.
No!
Double kill.
Please, ammo! I need a move!
That's double kill.
Oh my god! We're right on the verge of killing him! I need ammo!
Double score.
Yes! Oh my god!
Double score.
Yeah! I win! Rich! I win! Oh god. my points. I'm collecting my gear. My loots. Yeah, yeah, yeah! Take it! Take it! Oh my god. Let me out! Let me out! Fine, I'll run. Whee! Whee! Is it only in the run where the computer is? I think it is. I think it's literally only in the run. Hold on. I need to get to the computer. Get me to a computer screen. Now. Boom. Ah. I get everything. Everything is possible in the Demu. Crates you can get? I didn't know that. Sweet. Sweet. Alright. Perfect. Oh. Well, that gives me mixed feelings. Ooh, werewolf! Look at him. Look at him. Look at a good boy. Yeah! It was the werewolfy. It was the werewolfy. All right, chat. All right. All right. Okay. Yeah, chat. I think I'll be done for today. Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I think that'll be a good place to end it. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Remember, this Saturday for Saturday Showtime, we're watching The Beast Within, which is the Kit Harington werewolf movie. We'll see how good it is. Or bad it is. Who knows? In the meantime, though, hope you guys take care. Have a fantastic day. Stay safe and healthy. Get fit, get ripped. And I will see you back here tomorrow with some more Grim Down. Yeah. I might actually have Chapter 17 done here soon. Because I've been really jonesing about Chapter 17. Because I just have to rewrite a war scene, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bye-bye for now, everyone. Yeah. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.